insanely unhealthy people that are dictating the health regulations of what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
You can't dine outside, and I'm looking at fucking Skeletor telling me this.
Yeah,
You're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your fucking mind.
But that's the problem, is that the second that you agree with one thing,
right, they want to label you.
They label you, and it's everybody. I don't care who the fuck you are. You agree with something conservative and you agree with something liberal. I don't give a fuck who you are. Just within this like tribal mindset where everything is black and white, what they do is they get votes by making everybody the absolute villain. And they're abusing it for votes. But if you're actually going to be like a real person, you're going to be both. I mean, Chris Rock had that great joke. There's something I'm conservative about, something I'm liberal about, whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's every human being.
Every human being. Except really crazy people that are just ideologically captured.
Grifting.
Yeah, well, there's grifters, but there's also people that are just in a fucking cult, you know, and those are the people that wanted to burn Christians. And those are the people that, you know, I mean, this is...
How far does that cult go? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you let that start right now. Where does it end?
Right.
Like if they're the bad guy and they're awful and they're Nazis.
You
and
gotta
they're
kill them. Yeah, I mean, that's what people have done throughout time. They've othered.
They dehumanize.
Yeah, they dehumanize.
And once you're not a human, you could do anything to that person.
Right, right. You could burn witches. It's a witch.
You could harass them. You could harass their families.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay because they disagree with you and they agree with something quote-unquote evil.
Exactly.
When you might agree with something that your side also thinks is evil.
Right.
But you're not willing to admit it because you're scared.
Right. They'll whisper it to you.
Exactly.
I'm with you on this one.
Stopping it there, and welcome to Mika Reacts Reviews. We're reacting to things on the internet, and today we're reacting to Andrew Schulz. He has the Flagrant podcast. He's also a stand-up comedian. And then we have Joe Rogan, the famous podcaster, also the stand-up comedian. Even though I haven't actually reacted to any Joe Rogan stand-up, maybe we should. Let me know if you want me to in the comment section below. And the title of this video was Exposing Woke Culture. I agree with everything they just said right now. I have talked about tribalism on this channel multiple times, and I keep saying, doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're a part of a tribe, cult ideology, political ideology, it will go to the extremes at some point and you will just become another sheep. Whether you're following the left, whether you're following the right, whether you're following the middle, you'll still be a sheep that is not thinking for themselves. You should always be an individualist first and a critical thinker first before you label yourself any type of labels and just root for a team, right? And I also agree with him that most human beings are nuanced, moderate, and in the middle, except, you know, fanatics, crazy people, people who are actually indoctrinated into cults or cult-like thinking. Most normie people are in the middle. Most normie people have conservative beliefs, moderate beliefs, libertarian beliefs, and liberal beliefs, right? Nobody is this one fucking, you know, carbon copy of the next conservative before them or after them, or carbon copy of the next liberal before them or after them. And we need to start treating people more that way, because when you are tribal, like you said, it's very easy to manipulate anybody who's tribal. It's very easy to sort of capture anyone who's indoctrinated, because all you have to do is find out what their ideology is and just spit it back out them, because a lot of people who are tribal don't want you to veer off in any other direction. They want you to stay right exactly where they are. They want you to stay exactly where they feel like your label is defined, right? And they do all these purity tests, right? If you're a Christian, you shouldn't have tattoos. If you're conservative, why aren't you married? All these things, right? And so all you have to do is go, what is their ideology? And I will literally just repeat exactly what they believe in. I will tell them exactly what they want to hear, and boom, I got their vote, right? It's very easy to manipulate anyone who is in a tribalist mentality. Again, whether you're on the right or whether you're on the left, right? And I also agree with him in this dehumanization that the mainstream media has done, the universities have done, our politicians have done, our celebrities have done, and just your normie mommy daddy next door neighbor has done. We've seen it very prevalent in the 2-year virus, where it was the pandemic of the unvaccinated, the other, right? Or the cis white male, right? The conservative, the Christian, the other. We other them. So if you go punch them in the face, no one feels bad because they're the other and they believe in horrible, evil things. But the right does the same thing. They're the libtards. They're the progressive. They're ruining the country. And so if something bad happens to them, I don't really care. They're the other. People do this all the fucking time. I guess it's just human nature. And they also mentioned this. This has been going going on since man has begun, right? Since man has first walked on this planet, this is a cycle that human beings fall into all the fucking time, and that's why we just keep repeating fucking history. But anyway, let's continue.
We meet all these people. Like, I talk to these, sometimes these motherfuckers from like super liberal organizations will like DM me, and I'll ask them about it.
Yeah.
And they're honest in the DMs. And I'm like, you fucking phony.
Yeah.
You fucking phony,
Yeah.
dude. It's a grift. That's where I think it's a grift. I think
it's more of a cowardice than a grift.
Yeah.
With a lot of folks, they're just scared of encountering the wrath of the cult.
You just got to be careful that when you have the wrath of the cult, that you don't ease into the comfort of the side that supports you.
Right.
Because you'll feel their wrath the second you move away from them.
Right.
You're a man on an island, and it's hard to be on an island because now both sides can be upset at you.
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's the trickiest thing.
Stopping there, I have to talk about the grift a little bit. I think for the normie person, it is like just cowardice or just self-preservation. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want any enemies, so I'm not going to say anything, even though I know this shit is insane. I think a lot what you see in the mainstream or the stage or influencers, YouTubers, people on TikTok, Twitter, whatever, there is a lot of grifting going on. There's a lot of fucking grifting going on. Behind the scenes, a lot of your conservative talking heads are fucking grifters. They do not behave the way they behave when they're in front of the fucking camera. Not all of them, I'm not naming names, but a lot of them are grifters. I could easily grift, and I've been pressured to grift. Oh, if you just keep going conservative, just keep going right, your channel will blow up. You'll get so many more subscribers. I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about creating conversations and having a community of critical individualist thinkers. That's what I care about. I don't care about, becoming the next fucking Candace Owens. I'm not saying she's a grifter. I actually don't think she's a grifter at all. But there's a lot of conservative talking heads out there that went, oh, this actually pays. Because it does pay, especially on YouTube. Going grifting to the right on YouTube pays the bills. You might get censored, you might get striked, whatever, but you get an audience really quickly. Because again, people just want to hear what they want to hear. They want to hear their beliefs thrown back at them, and so it's easier to do that when you just say what people want to fucking hear, when you just hit all the conservative talking points, when you wear the costume, when you put on a mask, when you say all the fucking lingo. I've been told, oh, I shouldn't have color in my hair, or I shouldn't have piercings because that's not conservative. I don't care about your fucking conservative uniform, okay? I'm not a grifter. I don't care about labels or tribes or anything like that. If you want to have a conversation, if you like what I have to say, and it happens to be your party or ideology, that's fine. But no, I'm not a part of the whole grifting BS bullshit. And the other thing that he said about like being sort of kicked out of your tribe and becoming politically homeless, and then being taken in by the other ideology because they want more people in their army for their ideology, for their team, for their tribe, and then you get comfortable in it. But as soon as you say something that they don't like, they'll kick your ass out too. Because again, one tribe is just as stupid as the other tribe. When it's tribalist, it's just stupid as one another, right? And if you take the example of Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin has literally dedicated his whole life to becoming a conservative, becoming Christian, religious, doing all the stuff, right? In really dedicating his career into waking up people who are just blindly following the left. But as soon as he had a baby as a gay man, every fucking conservative talking head came out and denounced him, denounced his lifestyle. I don't believe in that, whatever. Even though most of those conservative talking heads use Dave Rubin's platform to blow up their own fucking following. Except Candace Owens. Candace Owens was a real friend to David Rubin, and she never came out and said any of that shit. So again, every tribe is bad as the other. I'm not saying that if you're a conservative, you don't stick to your values and say, hey, that's not a conservative value. I don't believe in that. But don't pretend to be someone's friend, and as soon as they say something you don't like, that's not a part of your ideology, you turn against them. Again, it's the same as the left. So this is why I keep talking about I don't like tribes, I don't like labels, because when you just see them doing the exact same thing, as I'm irritated when it comes to the progressive left, right? Anyway, let's continue.
When you feel like the total wrath of the opposition, it's hard to be like, but they do have a point about these certain things.
You got to do that, though.
You have to, or else you just become the same fraud that you hate.
Yeah, you become them, and I don't subscribe to that. I think you have to always say what you actually think about things and look at them objectively if you can.
Thank you.
You know, and sometimes we're gonna fail at that because we're gonna be in the moment. You're gonna be overwhelmed or captured or trapped in your thoughts.
You take each individual subject and you analyze each individual subject. You critically think about it instead of just going, that sounds conservative, though I believe in it. I'm not going to dissect it. I'm not going to really look into it, but it sounds conservative, so I believe in it or I support it. It's the same thing with the left, right? And I reacted to the Mr. Jones interview with Steven Crowder, and he kind of brought up this whole, like, I hate when conservatives infight. It's like, no, if a conservative does something that's against your values and you as a conservative call that out, that's sticking to your principles. That's sticking to your values. That's being honest, not tribal, right? Anyway, let's continue.
But at the end of the day, we all want similar things. We all want a peaceful society where your children and your family and your friends can prosper, and you want people to have the freedom to live the way they choose. The problem is when people start infringing on other people's freedoms. Yeah. That's what drives me crazy. That's what's driving me crazy about this gay marriage thing, and that's what's driving me crazy about this abortion thing. It's like, who are you to fucking tell people what they can and can't do? Yeah. Like, it's not what benefits us as a culture.
I don't agree that everybody just wants people to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. A lot of people feel like they should have the moral righteousness or the right to tell people how they should and should not live their lives. And I do get that to a certain degree. A community should have some sort of stability. But I also don't think you should just shut the fuck up and let people live how they want to live. Again, as long as they're not infringing on your rights and your property and your body autonomy. The reason why I'm pro-life is because it is a separate body. But again, I would never strap a woman down to the bed and force her to do anything she doesn't want to do. But morally, and my values and my principles is to protect all life, and that is including the life that's inside of you. Anyway, let's continue.
It's not what benefits us as a culture. What benefits as a culture is trying to see how the other people see and feel and find common ground.
You don't even have to agree, but like a lack of rigidity. Like, I think most human beings, right? I don't care how liberal you are. Most human beings who have had a kid will say, at a certain point in time, in the belly, it's a human.
Yes.
9 months.
Right. It's a fucking human.
It's a fucking human.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So we agree at a certain point, it's a human. Then we can back up from then when the right or wrong, or when somebody's right it is to terminate that thing. 1 week? Okay, who knows?
Yeah.
But we to look at somebody and go, 9 months, you should be able to do it. That's a little much, I think, for most people, if you're being honest.
Right.
1 week, we don't even know if it's going to come to term. I think 25% of I think women that are pregnant end up having miscarriages. Some of them don't even know it because they think it might be their period. Like, it's a very common thing that happens. So if we just had a little bit more elasticity, and we could just be like, hey, I agree there's a point in time where, it definitely is a life, and that'd be a little bit too much.
Right.
8 months that's a lot. Well, a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 weeks is we got 30 cells?
Yeah.
What is it? It's like one of those really complicated and messy human dilemmas. And that's what abortion is.
Yeah.
There's no some people are like, at the moment of conception. And I think most of those people, that's a religious notion.
And that's okay too. I'll go, okay, I understand where you're coming from for that perspective because you believe in that. And that's okay. And I understand why you feel that way.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. And then I'll go, but what about these horrible circumstances? Wouldn't you feel like it might be okay in these horrible circumstances? And then if they could just remove themselves from the group for a second and be like, okay, maybe in those, I'm not saying I'm giving you permission. Ultimately, it's like God who gives the permission, but I see why someone would want to.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
And then you don't feel like you're calling someone an asshole and a murderer every fucking 2 seconds.
Right.
You can't have a conversation with someone who goes, you're a murderer.
But then you have people that show up at these rallies and brag about how many abortions they've had.
That's the extreme that we're talking about. It's just like,
and that drives
you're
people.
Proud of that?
It polarizes people in the opposite way.
Yeah.
There's a funny clip, not funny, but it's very telling, from Joe Biden, and it's from the 1980s, where he said abortion should be legal and it should be rare. Yeah. And that it's always tragic, but it should be rare. And it's it's very interesting because it's such a nuanced perspective in comparison to the way he talks about it now. And just the party. Like, the party has a line. Like, someone told me this of Elizabeth Warren, that what she does is she has interns that search on Twitter for how people think about things.
And then she just
that's what she runs with. That's what she talks about. I don't know if that's true, but I knew if you want to say, like, cynically about certain politicians, for sure they do that. There's certain politicians that don't give you any feeling whatsoever of sincerity and of being a real human being. They seem like they're just poll machines, and
that's a job.
And that's what scares people if you're talking about people's rights. If you're talking about a woman's right to choose, if you're talking about a gay person's right to be married, it's like to have people they have these rigid poll-oriented perspectives on this, where I'm on the right-wing party, so I am going to say this because this is what my side believes and this is what my side wants. Like,
what if politics was like jury duty, in that, like, we all acknowledge we don't want to do it, but it was our civic duty to society.
All right, guys, that was Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz. I don't know where he was going with that. I don't know if he was going to say, like, it's our civic duty for everyone to do politics. No. There's a lot of people that should stay far, far away from politics. I've heard people say that we should have a law that says you have to vote. I don't know how I feel about that either. No, I don't think I like that either, because there's a lot of people that shouldn't vote. But the less people that vote, people should vote. But I don't think people should be made to vote. And there's some people who shouldn't vote. And if you're going to vote, educate yourself on it. Anyway, guys, that's it. Tell me what you think of this clip, what I said, what they said in the comment section below. And about the whole tribalism thing, I'm aware I also play my part in that. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just speaking out loud of how I feel about things. And, we should all take my advice, because I'm perfect. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the button to the notification when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal me link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all of the internet platforms I'm on, including my minds.com, my Rumble, my Odyssey, my Discord, my Twitter, all the links to all the other YouTube channels I have, all in the links down below. And if you like, you can super thanks. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle. I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go in the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link. Go subscribe to my travel vlog channel and or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye.